I'm curious what you think about, and I'm sure you all read about, the man on the plane who sat next to a woman and refused to sit next to her because he was a very religious Jew and he could not be next to a woman. And meanwhile, you know, he's going out into the world, free society, everyone is different, everyone has different beliefs, and I'm just curious what you thought about that. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's
a tough one.
It's appalling. I mean,
Yeah.
I think if people have limitations around their own space in public places,
And stay home.
it's on their, then they need to figure out how to work it out. They can't expect the world to move for them.
Yeah.
The question is not so much this man and his individual preferences. The thing I always look at is what is the institutional response? There are always going to be bullies and thugs who try to get rid of women, but the question is what do the institutional actors who have the real power do? Here, I guess it's the airline, but how do they respond? Who is getting pressured? Is it him, or are they starting to pressure female passengers to give up their seats?
I mean, female passengers have. That's not news for El Al. That there's very religious people on board and there's issues about who can sit next to whom and stuff. It's just that again, like that's being introduced into a world where it's starting to not be okay, or the onus is now no longer on the women to sort of not make a scene and make it easier on everyone. But I think that's a great point, is that it's about the institution. So it's not only about the institutional response, but it's about the institution from whence this man came, and that's the institution of orthodoxy in Judaism that sort of gave him the expectation that he could board El Al to Israel and be able to dictate who he sat next to.
I'll play devil's advocate
Do
because
it.
that's
Go for
often
it.
my role in these conversations. What about just common courtesy? I mean, how often have you been on a train or a plane or a subway for that matter, and maybe there's a family that wants to sit together and you're in the middle and you notice or they ask and then you move to make it more comfortable for them. Is there some role for that?
I think that's completely different. I think what went on with this gentleman who couldn't be next to women is no different what's going on with Indiana when they passed that law and said, well, if you own a bakery and you don't feel like serving a gay population, you don't have to. And what else don't you get to serve? I think it's the same exact thing.
No, well, if I may, I think that's different because that has to do with state law and with business.
And religion, it was all religious based.
But is there a role for courtesy in these interactions?
But who's courtesy? I mean, it's not courtesy to say it is offensive to me to be next to you because of your gender. That doesn't seem to me to be an issue of courtesy.
Well, that's but if you're
Right,
if
that's
you're
a
able to
religious
frame it
interest.
as my religious sensibilities are offended because of what my religion
I would
dictates,
prefer-
which is
I would
the
prefer to-
bakery in Indiana example.
I would prefer to sit next to a different person.
I think it comes down to the fact that women are offended by the premise underlying the request. I've been that family many times that has, coming on with the kids and, oh, can you please let us? Sometimes I want them to sit next to my small child instead of me. But I think here the problem is it's an offensive premise, right? We wouldn't countenance somebody saying, I'm so sorry, I don't feel comfortable sitting next to people of your race. Could you move?
Exactly.
Absolutely not. Nobody would stand for that. And the idea that women are supposed to stand for being treated or understood to be undesirable to sit next to or too desirable to sit next to, it's problematic at its core.